T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Rock the world, rock the world. With me, no worries, come with me. No worries, just come with me. No worries, just come with me.
Yeah, what up, what up, what is up? Welcome to the King and Me Show. First of all, mic check 1, 2. Is Michelle gonna be sitting in my lap this time?
Hey y'all, what
What
up,
up,
what
y'all?
up, what up? How y'all doing?
Welcome to the King and Me Show, where I, King, and
Me, Michelle. Hey y'all.
come to y'all live across multiple platforms, talking about all things dating and relationships, giving some insight into our relationship, and maybe, just maybe, providing
maybe.
value to someone else. Michelle, our chat is working. Hey, shout out to the producers for getting things to work out. All right, boom. So let's get the marketing stuff out the way and then jump into it. But before we do,
It's a new month, y'all.
it's a new month.
It's February, so that means it's time for us to go ahead and update our handy-dandy calendar. So if you were paying attention, I bought King this calendar, and the little knobby things are getting all stuck and discombobulated, but that's neither here nor there. And for each month of the calendar, it has a picture that we took in the same month last year. So the picture that was in January was literally a picture that we took on January 1st. And then this is the picture that we took at Fire and Ice last February. I literally walked out the house in anything, hence the yoga pants and the Uggs and the scarf that don't match nothing. And we're standing next to Mickey Mouse, MICKEYMOUSE.
Was that the whole Mickey Mouse song?
No, that's just the only part that I know.
Okay. We're streaming across multiple platforms: Facebook, YouTube, X, and I'm forgetting one of them.
I mean, we streaming on multiple people's Facebooks. Are you streaming on mine?
I am not.
Aw,
You didn't say so, so
I
I
should
did not.
have. That is
Okay.
my fault. I'm sorry.
And one of the other platforms that we're streaming on is Perry Productions. Shout out to my boy Will Buchanan over there at Perry Productions for allowing us to stream on his platform as well. If there's a like button that is on your platform and you can hit it, do us a favor. Hit that like button.
Hit it.
And we like to give a early shout out to the early commenters. We got Pete in the building, said, "Hey girls." Man, Pete, come on, man. Come on, don't you see this beard? Don't you see this beard? Who else do we have in the building?
Tarika, you already said Tarika, right?
No, I did not.
Oh, my bad. Tarika's in the building, the best mod in the world. Hey, sis.
So Tarika got some thoughts about our comments. I gave her the heads up as to what we're going to be talking about today. And she's got some thoughts. So Tarika, don't be shy. When we get to these questions, put your questions put your comments in the chat.
So, sidebar, I just want to shout out you, Mr. Senior Producer, because the new text box that you have has a timestamp on it.
Hey.
You are so, like,
I try, babe.
swear.
I try.
I love you.
All right. Well, today's topic, if you didn't see the title, is called Unequally Yoked. Now, that's kind of the main content of it. I titled this thing something. It's based off of a Bible verse in one of them Corinthians.
Not one of them Corinthians. Hold on. Let me pull it up.
Be ye not.
Be ye not unequally yoked. And I accidentally pushed way too many buttons over here.
Mm-hmm.
My bad, y'all. Oh wait, so Tarika did comment.
You bring up the verse. I'll look at Tarika's comment.
All right, thank you.
So Tarika said, "Queen, you got a Stanley Cup. Are they expensive?"
So first of all, this one is not a Stanley Cup. This is the equivalent of a Yeti. And Yetis are just as expensive. But this cup was given to me by, so I serve on a board, and it was given to me by one of the board members. It's an educator's cup. It didn't cost me anything except a little pride. Because I literally like begged everyone on this board to feel pity for me and to gift me with
Nice.
one of the
Nice.
cups. And they did. So it just costs a little bit of pride.
Okay.
The verse is 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 14 through 18. It says, Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness?
Okay, so that's how we're going to start this off. And as we talked about this, or as we're talking about this idea spurned from in our relationship. I met Michelle, and one of her titles was Minister Michelle Early. Her website, godhappenedtome.com. And she talked about 3 things that she wasn't going to break for anyone. And one of them, what was one of them? Your faith? I don't remember.
Actually, no.
It was your sobriety,
veganism, and celibacy.
So, but I knew that your faith was important to you.
Mm-hmm.
And besides us seeing each other in person, one of the things that I said very early on was, okay, I know about her faith. She literally has a website called God Happened to Me, an Instagram around the same title. And I'm like, I haven't stepped inside of a church in probably over a decade.
But the good news is, in the time that we have been together, how many times have you been inside of a church? That's right.
For
1,
death?
2, 3. Well, I'm not including the funeral. I'm not even including the funeral. I wasn't even counting that.
Yeah, the photos. Helping you out with the photos.
3 times. I'm just saying.
So initially, as we were getting to know each other, I shared my thoughts about my faith and where I stood.
Yeah.
And I asked her about her faith and where she stood. And we asked a realistic question is, okay, let's understand each other's values and things like that. And could this work out knowing where each other's values were and how different we are in those thoughts? And we're going to get into that a little bit later on, but that's the primer for why we chose this topic. We also hear other people talk about it on social media and even in person in various circles and spaces as well.
And not just pertaining to religion. So yes, we are talking about the Bible verse. Mm-hmm. And yes, the original basis of what we're talking about did stem from religion. But we're also talking about unequally yoked in other areas as well. So stay tuned, because it may start with religion, and it may start with a Bible verse, but there's more to it.
Let's get into our icebreaker, and then we're going to get right into this subject, all right?
Yes, sir.
So we're reading 3 questions from Let's Get Deep, questions for couples. We highly recommend it. They're not sponsoring us.
Yes.
But we do say, check it out, all right? There's a link in the description to purchase this. It's a good date night question.
So I see the question that's on here.
Okay.
But it would be too easy. Oh, I mean, it is an icebreaker. So I guess I'll ask this. Are you okay with me modifying the question to make it a little bit more fun?
Go ahead.
So the modified question said, what snacks would I bring on a road trip?
Oh, wow. What snacks would you bring on a road trip? Red Vines, graham crackers, grapes, blueberries, and those are the easy four that I think you would bring on a road trip. And you'd bring the grapes and blueberries are for you, graham crackers, and what was the other thing I said? The red vines.
You said red vines, but I don't think that's what you meant.
Or Twizzlers.
Twizzlers. There you go. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely. And if you were in charge of packing, what snacks do I think you would bring? You would definitely hit up the Twizzlers.
Okay.
If Castle were with us, you would get something chocolatey and crunchy. We got her liking what's that one with like the cones? So they're not combos, but it's the one that like look, they're shaped like little cones, and it's something that we got her hooked on from the gas station.
Word.
Dang it, I can't think of their names right now.
Me neither.
Anyway, those,
okay. And
then we definitely would have some grapes. We probably have some Oreos, even though I would get over them real quick because I like Oreos, but I don't like them.
Okay.
But you're right about that.
Now, between us, she's been the de facto road snack packer.
Mm-hmm.
So I choose to relinquish that. That is Michelle's duty in this relationship.
Yep, and I'm fine with that. Oh, okay. Deep. Who in your family are you closest to? Why?
Oh, man. Who in my family am I closest to? You know, lately, I'd have to say my dad. Because we talk more often now that he's retired. As of right now, it'd have to be my father. And the why? We speak more almost every day. And it's about random things. He's a veteran. I'm a veteran. So we talk about that. And while he's retired and older, he's an older guy that likes tech. So we talk about tech stuff as well. He tries to talk to me about church stuff. And I'd be like, Pops.
No, you didn't just say that.
So it's my dad. And because we spend a lot of time together and things like that, that would be my why. How about you?
So the family member that I'm closest to the most is my middle sister. So on my mom's side, I'm the youngest of 5. And on my dad's side, I'm the youngest of 2. On my mom's side, it's girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. And on my dad's side, it's boy, girl. I'm most closest to the sister who is closest to me in age. That's my sissy poop. I love to stalk her and call her at inappropriate times when I know she's unable to answer. And then leave her voicemails that say, how dare you not answer me when I'm calling you.
I've heard you say that.
Because it's
such a youngest kid thing to do.
It's such a youngest kid thing to do. I love to spoil her daughter. Every undesirable trait that her daughter has, like her affinity to mirrors and her hair, she got from me. And it makes me happy to know that I passed those things down to her.
Good influence. You are a good influence, and she's an awesome kid. It's been pretty cool getting to know her. I've been to some of her concerts as well. I know that she's really talented. I'm really looking to see what she's got going for her as she gets older.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
On the answer for road snacks, Tarika said, I'd bring strawberries, pineapples, graham crackers, and chips.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Pete said, King, I love you, man, but God is calling you. Let him in. I might not be hearing the ringing in, brother.
I had a joke, but I feel bad because it's pulling on the medical condition that you have.
Oh, don't say it. Actually, that's good. Go ahead.
So, Pete, you said, King, I love you, man, but God is calling you, let him in. And then you said, I don't hear the ringing. And I'm like, it's because you have tinnitus in your ears. So you can't.
Hey, that's good.
That is horrible.
That's good. So I have tinnitus. My ears are ringing now. They ring all the time. So, no, that's hilarious, babe.
I love you.
Hey, y'all, look, we joke. We can be funny on these streets. We got John Davison said, man, a whole chicken Powerades. A whole chicken Powerades A whole chicken, bro?
Where you going?
The bottle to use for me to pee in without stopping. So
Fair.
my dad's a truck driver. He told me that that's what truckers do.
That's fair.
Skins, Sara Lee bread, plenty of ice, and water. Just playing. Bro, you got a whole picnic.
I'm about to say, like the whole loaf of Sara Lee, not just a couple slices, because I'm famous for just putting a couple slices away.
Hey, man, I'm going to give that a like. That was over on Perry Productions page.
Nice.
I appreciate you, John.
Thank you.
Yo, that's hilarious. A whole chicken. What kind of chicken?
What kind?
Is it the
Is it Sam's Club? Is it
rotisserie?
Walmart?
The flavored ones?
What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
We need some specificity in this, just a little bit.
Specificity. Ooh, I said it.
You
I
know-
wasn't sure if I could say it.
You know where I got that word from?
My brother?
No,
Oh.
not your brother. I got it from Inception.
Hmm.
Because Tom Hardy, like, absolutely loves Tom Hardy. He said it in there, and it was just something about the way he said it with his accent that I was like, specificity.
Specificity. I'm from Alabama. Sometimes me saying more than 3 syllables might be challenging. All right. So we got one more, and this is the deeper.
It's not that, I mean, it's kind of deep, I guess. What's one thing you're saving up for?
I'm taking my daughter on a graduation trip to Okinawa and mainland Japan when she graduates in 2025. That's the biggest thing for me right now. That's one of the most important things for me. And the significance behind Japan is not just a graduation gift. She was born in Okinawa, Japan when I was active duty Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
And we moved away from there when she was about to turn 2. And currently, at her age of 16, she likes the Japanese culture. She's real big into anime and things like that. So for me, I think it'd be dope for her to get that passport stamp, virtual or whatever.
No, they give real stamps everywhere else except for Canada. It's just Canada.
So that is one of my top priorities that I am currently saving up for. How about you?
One of my current ones is to be able to live elsewhere. So I absolutely 1000%. I love my job. I am blessed to not only do what I do, but to work for the district that I work for. Like I've spoken to other people in other districts, and I know that some districts do not have it as good as we do. So I am grateful for my job. I'm grateful for my district. I'm grateful for my school. I'm grateful for my proximity from my home to my school. But I know that eventually I do want to live overseas. So right now, I don't even know if you would call it saving as much as I'm trying to, like you, pay off debt so that I can look forward to that life overseas.
Nice. All right. So, look, Michelle and I, we're a new-ish couple. You know I got to find a way to get that in there.
Yes.
We are a newish couple. We've been dating a little bit over a year now. And
Almost a year and a half.
And one of the things that I like is that we're open to communication. So that was like a finance question and things like that. We talked about our finances and stuff early. We're going to be doing a very open deep dive later or early in 2025. We're going to fully open up the books. And it's something that I recommend. If you don't know what somebody's credit score is, if they don't know what your credit score is, if you don't know all of their assets and liabilities, then I would ask you, why are you considering something long-term with that person? If it's a short-term situation, have fun. I don't need to know what your credit score is.
And so what I'll add to that, if you were not willing to share that information, then why pursue a long-term relationship? You have to not only be willing to do it, but you have to actually do it. Like, those are important parts of building a life together.
Mm-hmm.
Because reality is, if you two get married, they don't just come after one person for that. They come after both. So make sure you understand like where both of you all are sitting financially so that you can make those decisions together.
Good deal. Now, John Davidson had a couple of things here, and I want to highlight them before we continue. He said, the bird has to be roasted because of Way of J Fitness. Sorry, I was slipping. So Way of J is an awesome trainer,
Yes.
online trainer. If you look up Way of J Fitness on Facebook and Instagram, you'll find him. That is Perry Productions' brother. both solid people, both supporters of us. We support them. So want to give Way of J a salute as well. And John also said Perry Productions is awesome. Support everything that they do. So that's
I
cool, man.
would 100% agree with that. Please, if you are in the Atlanta area, or even if you're not, like, let's be honest, even if you're not in the Atlanta area and you are looking for a videographer or a photographer or someone that you want to be able to capture those moments of your life, and you know which moments I'm talking about. If you need someone to do that, please go ahead and hit up Perry Productions. Not only will he fly out at your expense to wherever you need him to be able to cover your special moment, but I'm telling you, you're going to look back at what he creates and you're going to be like, how did I go my whole life without him? So please make sure you take a moment, click through his work, check it out. Like, it's phenomenal. And then Way of J, man. Now that's the trainer you need in your life. Like, that's that one that you go to when you are definitely ready to commit to a lifestyle change. And I feel like that ties in greatly with what we're doing here. We're making lifestyle changes. Like, we're making lifestyle changes on how we date. We're making lifestyle changes on how we eat. We're making lifestyle changes on how we present our body. Check out Way of J to help you make those changes. Check out Perry Productions for all of your photography and videography needs. And make sure you go ahead and tell them, what is that? Kendra up in the building?
What up,
With
Kendra?
Wiley Living. Y'all, Kendra, since we giving a shout out to some people right here, Kendra, you need to hit her up for your financial and your travel needs. So Kendra travels, she goes around, she does all the things, and she shares everything on her channel, Wileen Living, here on YouTube. That's YLEANLIVING, Wileen Living on YouTube. Check her out. She has great content and gives wonderful advice. You need to check her out, especially if you are willing to step outside of the U.S. and go visit her home, Paris. She says that that's where she's from, so I'm gonna support her dreams and say that that's where she's from. But no, y'all, she offers wonderful dating advice. She offers financial advice and things just to kind of help you be able to live life lean, to be able to trim the fat that you don't need. So here's what you do. Let me help you out if I were to put this in chronological order, because I'm a teacher and I'm a preacher, so I surmise things easily. So what you do is, right, you use Way of J to kind of get your life right on order, map out things that you're going to do. Then you go to Kendra to make your life living lean. And then you go over to Perry Productions and you let him video and record everything all together. Baby, what? Yes. Okay. Check them all out. Thank you.
Dope. So we've gotten our icebreakers out the way. We've got some people popped into the building, y'all. Let's get into today's topic.
Let's get into it.
So I'm going to try this, right? I'm going to post a link, but since I'm not a moderator, I don't know how it's going to come up. If you have the ability to, there's going to be a link that's going to show, maybe, I don't know.
We don't know.
Hopefully.
It shows.
I was going to try and do a poll, right? So if you're able to click on the poll.
It showed up with the link.
Okay. We're curious to know what you think. And if you can't do the poll, answer the question that's up on the screen. Can an unequally yoked relationship work? Now, we're not adding any caveats to it.
None.
So if you can hit the poll up. I don't think people are going to be able to.
I was able to.
Oh, okay.
I answered it.
So we got yes, we got no, and we got depends. If you can't do the poll, put a 1 for a yes, a 2 for a no, and a 3 for it depends in the chat. Now, let me tell you, Michelle.
Let's go, King.
Early on,
I
called us oil and water.
You did.
And one of my main reasons was because of our views on faith. Now, I stated early on that I support everything that you do about your faith, and I guarantee you that I will never, and I don't like speaking in absolutes. Everybody knows that.
Mm-hmm.
I said I will never be a hindrance when it comes to you and your faith in God.
Yes.
And that if for some reason I ever was, please open your mouth and say something.
Mm-hmm.
I stated, though, along with that I can't see a reason that I would ever show up in capacity inside of a building if services were going on.
That's funny
And
because you did not word it like that originally. You
how
making
did I
that
word it originally?
modification. You said you weren't gonna go.
Okay.
But you just said it like that. And the other thing that I remember distinctly asking is if it were something that were truly important to me, would you come? And you said yes.
Now, I said yes, but let the record reflect. I think that could be a slippery slope, though.
But no, but I gave you examples. I think at the time I had given you an example of
Do
like
you remember
something.
one of them?
I think one of them is like if I became an ordained reverend,
Okay.
would you come? And I think you said yes to that.
And
Because that's like a
I
special
probably
service.
asked you why, too.
Why would I want you there?
Yeah.
Because that's a special, like that's a elevation thing, and I would want you by my side.
Oh, yes. And what I did was I made the joke and I said,
Oh yeah.
I said, normally there's programs for certain things. So, like, at what point would the ordainedness happen? I said, I'll show up
for that.
5 years before that, and I'm out right after that.
Yeah. So we did talk about it. We did talk about it.
Okay. Now, I said that initially because in my examples of growing up where people would use that unequally yoked thing,
Mm-hmm.
verse, they were primarily talking about religion. Now, I have learned
Mm-hmm. What you
that
learned?
when that verse is being talked about, it's talked about from the man being the leader. Am I saying that right?
It's so historically, like we also have to understand that most of the things that are said in the Bible, they were talking more to the men a lot of the time, more so than they were to the women. So a lot of the stories that we hear in the Bible of unequally yokedness, okay, is because the man was Jewish and the woman would be not Jewish. And it was always saying that a Jewish man should not be with a Gentile woman, regardless of what other faith she was, a Moabite, whatever. It was basically saying that men who were Jewish shouldn't be with women. Now, if you want to stretch it out and say that essentially some of the things that were said biblically also pertain to women, like we're extending things over and extending that grace to extend it to women, then yes, you could look at it that way. But typically the examples that we see in the Bible were geared towards men being believers, being of faith, and not the woman. But also, this is coming from 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians was New Testament, so New Testament was more pertaining to Christians and Christianity, which was open to more than just the Jewish faith. But still, a lot of things were geared more towards men. Because a woman who is a non-believer can have a greater impact on the way a household operates and the way a man thinks than the opposite being true, than a woman being a believer and a man not being a believer.
Okay. So initially when you and I got together, I expressed my thoughts about it, but I never expressed any doubts about us working because from what I saw, I'm like, you and I have similar values. So as you were hearing me talk about this and share this with you, in your mind, why did you go, I see that this is where this man's coming from, yet I want to pursue something with him because of things that I can see?
So I'm going to be honest. And while I'm answering this question, y'all, if you're just now tuning in, there is a link. Scroll up a little bit and go ahead and answer the poll that we put in there. Everyone should have access to it. And I think King is going to repost it while I do this. But one thing I will say, aside from going on one date with a Muslim man, all the other men in my life have all been Christian. All of them had said, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus. And aside from one of them coming to church with me, no one has ever gone to church with me.
Mm-hmm.
short of a funeral or some kind of like ecumenical service or something like that, that wasn't necessarily about supporting me or being in service with me, only one has gone to church with me. So what I have seen, and this is just me, but what I have seen is that a lot of men were saying that they were that because they wanted that good Christian girl, but they weren't really about that lifestyle. Were they going to support me in my studying as I'm trying to delve deeper? Were they going to be with me to provide emotional support for me in situations? No, they weren't really willing to do that, but they were a Christian on paper. However, with you, what I saw was different. You flat out said that you weren't. However, there has not been one moment where you tried to prevent me from going deeper in my faith. You have pushed me to service lovingly. Moments when I was like, you know what, I don't feel up to it or something like that, like you encouraged me to go. You stand by and you hold my feet to the fire. So if I say, King, I don't understand why this, and this is happening, you literally go to my website. And because you read every single one of my blog posts, you go to my website, you read what I have written, you screenshot it, draw a nice little red circle over it, and then text it back to me like, but didn't you say this on this day? So you need to pull back on that. You hold me accountable and you make sure that if my faith is what I say I have, if I say I believe in God, then you make sure that there's nothing coming in between me and God. And I have never experienced that in my life. And the thing is, you did that before we were even a couple. So there has never been any doubt. There's never been any doubt in my mind because you did that for me even before we were a couple.
Now, you did have some of your writings, and one of the things that I said is that I'm not going to hold you to anything that was said in the past, like 100% like, but you said this. And you talked about, you know, finding a man of God and also having kids. I am a guy that showed up and gives you zero of that. So,
well,
Michelle,
you gave me a bonus, love.
Mm-hmm.
And I also realized, so this is a little secret of being in the classroom and being a teacher. I realized I don't want kids. I need, like, spend time teaching high schoolers. It would have been different if I had come into teaching when I was in my 20s and I was freshly in a relationship, but I prayerfully will be 38 this year. And the older I get and the longer I stay in the classroom, the more I'm like, no, Jesus, this is enough. Your grace is sufficient. Like, I'm good. I don't need no more. So I have enough kids. And I have my bonus love. So I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Now, when we get past the religious part, one of the things that I said that wanted me, I ain't gonna say wanted me, that allowed me to go, I can give Michelle time, I could give Michelle attention, I could give Michelle energy, is that I would ask you questions about your values. I would see where you stood about certain things, because my observation, a lot of relationships that fail, is it fails when two people's values just don't align. Was there ever anything that you saw in me that made me go, but that's close? Like, that's what I want to know. Was there ever anything that was like, let me think about this one a little bit more to make sure that I'm okay with this?
Values, not just like a tendency?
Just values for this specific subject, but I was going to ask that a little bit later on.
No, you don't. There are no values that you have that I'm like, no, I can't get with, I can't support. Your values at the end of the day, and I told you this, I can't remember verbatim what I said because I barely remember the day of the week. So I can't remember verbatim what I said. Excuse me, but your values. Your values are deeply Christian rooted, even though you are not a professed Christian.
Okay.
And I told you, I felt man of godness coming from you, even though you weren't?
Let's talk about that a bit.
Okay, we can talk about it.
So I was raised in the church, in a church.
Mm-hmm.
Call it apostolic faith,
Okay.
somewhere around that time. And a lot of the things that my parents instilled upon me were values and lessons and things that came from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, most of my family also would have things that they would say, lessons, stuff that they would try to raise me and give corrections, aka whoopings, if I strayed away from them. So I learned at an early age ways to act that favorably in the culture where I grew up at worked for the people that I was around. And what I mean by that is this. There are certain ways that you're taught to treat a fellow man and things like that that stem from Bible verses, right? I can't name them, but it was what my dad and the pastors and preachers that I was around and stuff, how they acted and what they would say all the time. So when I became a young man and then my own adult, I still thought that those things made sense for me to live by, right? What got me away from, I'm just going to say the church, was my traveling around the world. I would see people had different faiths in different places. Culturally, there were a lot of things that to me were very similar as far as how you look and treat a fellow man. Didn't matter really what your faith was. So then it had me go, if all of these jokers is out here talking about similar stuff, I don't know what's right. So I'm just going to say none of it's right. That's how I look at it. But my values still, as far as, not infringing on another person's beliefs, not infringing on somebody's lifestyle and things. All right, Jiminy Cricket over here. To me, that's kind of like universal. So I stood on those values and I still stand on like those kind of values. But my upbringing was rooted in like a Christian upbringing.
And so there was so much meat in what you just said. Number one, some people get, first of all, religion and relationship confused. Religion is that thing that you choose to put above all else. For me, I feel like this is 24. I want to say somewhere around 2017, 2018, I put religion aside and realized that I want relationship. I want a relationship with God. And I recognize that the way that my relationship with God is, it may not look like how other people's relationship with God looks. At the end of the day, this is how I worship God. I don't need, and I'm not necessarily saying you, but I don't need person A or B or C to worship God like I do because they ain't been through what I've been through. And they don't know God like I know God. We know him differently. Throughout the Bible, we see that we continue to learn names of God as he continues to reveal himself. So like when he was talking to Ishmael's mother, so Sarah and Abraham's Sarah's servant that she sent to go be with Abraham so that scripture could be fulfilled, the scripture that said that Abraham was going to be the father of many. Eventually Sarah recognized, oh wait, homegirl is pregnant. I don't like this, kicked her out. And God met her in the wilderness and she called him El Roha, the God who sees, because he saw her in that moment. We get all these different names for God throughout the Bible based on what he does and the moment that he shows up in someone's life. So the way that I know God isn't the way that someone else is going to know God. I chose relationship over religion. I chose to say, okay, I may not praise him like you do, but I'm going to still praise him and he's still going to know my heart. And I think so often we get caught up in religion that the way that we feel about God has to look exactly like this. And if it don't look like this, then it ain't real. And I think because that falsehood has been going on for so long, pretty much into perpetuity, that so many people are like, if I don't praise him like that, then I can't be a real Christian. Like, I can't be really saved if I don't do what I see other people do. If I don't see people passing out from the laying on of hands, if I don't pass out like that, and if I don't speak in tongues, if I don't do all that, then I can't have a relationship in God. But no, that's not what the Bible says. The Bible makes it very clear about what it means to have a relationship with God. And unfortunately, I feel like there's so many people who are like you, who are just like, well, I don't do this and this, so I must not be saved. I'm just going to step away, because if this is what you say religion has to look like, but then all these other people over here are saying that this is what religion has to look like, then who's right? Well, okay, neither one of you can be right, so both of y'all are wrong, so I'm going to just do my own thing. And I'm not knocking anyone who believes that, who walks down that path. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be either or. People can worship God differently. And that's where I stand. That's where I stand flat-footed, literally, because I am flat-footed, 10 toes down. But that's where I stand.
We had several comments, and most of them came on platforms that you would be able to read. Can you acknowledge some of the comments, please?
So Pete says, I will say this: King is one of the two best men that I know. I'm assuming he would mean you and CQ.
Hey, man. Thanks, Pete. I appreciate that, brother.
And then Tarika said, King, your character shows Queen a lot. This little heart thing is in my way. That's why she's with you. She loves you for you. It's true. Like, she's right. I do love you for you. I see exactly who you are. And that shines through because it's about relationship. And I see that.
Okay.
So I definitely see who you are. And that's what I'm here.
So
no, there were no values that were just like,
okay.
Tendencies, some little tendencies, but no values.
What's one of them?
Well, we had to move past that whole not showering before bed thing, because you shower. I shower before getting into bed because of my allergies and how I'm like amazingly allergic to everything. So it was that little thing.
Yes, and she doesn't like. I've never seen anybody to the level of how she does it, where before you can get in the bed, she will shower.
Every time.
Every time.
Like, I'm already trying to work out when I have this surgery later on this month how I'm going to shower, because I know they're probably going to say, like, I won't be able to get in water.
But that's if you step out the house. Like, I even gave the example of, so if you showered the night before and then you're in your house on a Saturday and you just go to the mailbox and come back inside, do you still have to shower? And she said yes. And yep. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to hit the good parts, right? And then I'm calling myself good. But every time she steps on the outside, she says that she needs to wash the outside off. So she's big on doing that. And I'm like,
but like, that is so minor. And that's why I'm just like, it's not a value. You don't have a value that I don't know.
Yeah. So while that's not a value, there are things that, I'm going to say this way. I don't believe you can find somebody that's going to 100% tick off everything that you say that you want in somebody. If you do find that somebody that's 100%, oh my goodness, grab them and don't let them go nowhere.
Right. Like, don't even let them go to the bathroom without you at this point in life.
So, but, I don't like the word compromise. I am going to say you're going to have to see what that person is coming into the relationship with, and then you have to ask yourself, can I accept that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if there's some things that you can accept, don't get deeper into that relationship, investing your money, energy, attention, and time. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. Don't invest your 4 things into that person only to, at the end of it, go, you know what? I really didn't like the way she chews every time she eats, and it really bothers me. Like, that kind of thing where you chose to ignore it because they were cute. You chose to ignore it because they did all these other things, but you still can't get rid of this one thing, because stuff starts small, and if you allow it, it'll just grow, get bigger, and bigger, until now you have a problem. Or when a problem arises, here's the thing: relationships, aren't bad because they're bad. In my opinion, relationships fail when you allow things to fester, slide, and you don't address things in yourself, and you don't have conversations with the offending party if that person says, does, or has something about them that you chose to overlook but never said anything, about. And then what'll happen is when something goes awry, if something goes awry, and they try to hit you with something, you hit them back with, well, that's why your feet stink. And y'all aren't even talking about the real reason as to why y'all are having static, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've said with Michelle and I, we've known each other since August of 22. And we've had one moment of static, two. I'm going to count 2 moments of static.
Okay.
One at your house and one in downtown DC or Northern Virginia.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to say Michelle and I've had 2 moments of static that we communicated and worked through,
Mm-hmm.
right? Michelle could have pulled the cord at any point during those 2 moments of static, and I wasn't going to fight for it. That was nothing that I was going to, no, babe, no, If you would have said, King, I'm out, I would have been like,
But see, this is where we differ. So you're saying you're never going to find anyone who checks all of your boxes, like every single box, and is 100% the dream person that you created in your head.
Mhm.
And you're saying that, if you find something, address it with the offender at that time. And I look at it as you're never going to find someone who checks all of your boxes, who's 100% everything that you need them to be. So my comment to that is, converse, have that conversation, yes, but don't be willing to throw it away because of that. And here's why I say this. I have OCD, clinically diagnosed OCD, PTSD, and ADHD. I'm all the D's, okay? I have all of it.
The whole alphabet
The
soup
whole
over there.
alphabet soup, okay? I'm looking for something with a Z so that I can have it too. But I have all of those things, right? So I know that I come with high levels of imperfection. Literally, my right hip sits higher than my left. I am imperfect. I am not a perfect being. And I really would hate it if a man is expecting me to come into a relationship perfect. What I am coming into a relationship as is someone who's willing to learn and someone who's willing to put things that aren't a hindrance to our relationship aside so that our relationship can grow. If I don't like, for example, and this is completely hypothetical, if I don't like the way that you chew, then maybe I can put some headphones on when you chew. That's not an unreasonable thing. But I'm not going to throw away a whole relationship that literally has firm foundations because of a little idiosyncrasy like that. But if it were something bigger, like a value is different from a minor tendency, unless there's disrespect attached to it. So,
Yes.
for example,
Yes.
if I say to you, King, I love you, and I know I can put headphones on, but they're dead or something like that, but you're smacking, and your smacking is negatively impacting me. If I say that to you in a respectful way, but your response is, and you just keep smacking, that's different. Or if I say, King, I really, because of my allergies and things like that, and because of my compromised immune system, I would really appreciate it if you showered before we go to bed. And then you're like, I'm a grown man, I don't have to do what you're saying, and you continue to do that. That's different. Likewise, if a man says something to a woman like, I would really appreciate it if you would put the dish in the dishwasher when you're finished with it instead of letting it sink. There's a different response when something is done disrespectfully. If there's disrespect attached to it, then throw out everything I just said. But I feel like if things are done in a respectful way and you're honoring that person, the relationship, and yourself, then I feel like there is a level of let go-itness that you can get.
I like it. I like it. What did Tarika say? I can't read it from here.
It says, first of all, let's go back to John Davidson. He said, grown men movement, if not, get out the way. Then Tarika said that she was agreeing. She said, God does not believe in religions. Yeah, it's only us humans who seem to believe in like all these 75 million different religions. Then she said, in Christianity is a white man religion. It is not a black religion. It is not our religion, or ours, you know. I don't see anything wrong with what we were talking about. She said, I'm sure all women depend. It depends for all women. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Jay. Jay said, I'm sure the woman wrote depends.
Oh, Jay's in the building.
Jay's in the building.
What's up, Jay?
Causing trouble, probably.
Hey, pause a second. Shout out to Jay. Jay's a good friend of mine from Germany.
Germany. I speak no
It's
German.
like but early. Wait, stupid late or but early over there right now. And the fact that he's tuning in and showing support. Hey, Jay,
We
I appreciate that,
you.
man.
We appreciate
That's
you.
dope.
Then Sarika joked and said, yes, you have to wash yourself. Jay said, great point, Michelle, but women need to ask themselves if they sound like a girlfriend or a mom. Yeah, there's a fine line between partner and mommy.
Yes.
Fine line.
Yes, and in my opinion, 7 out of 10 women currently don't know the difference in how they communicate and tone to where they can say something and get their man to agree or have an understanding because they don't address it with the proper tone. There's that men talk about this all the time, Michelle, and how their women speak. I'm going to tell you right now, I respect how you respect this relationship because I can see it in you in the way that you speak and the way that you address a situation, how you have a conversation. That was something that you said earlier today where you said, so, because you and I were talking about our goals and some of the things that we're doing on our fitness journey. And you were like, there's some pounds that need to come off. And a guy that is insecure would take hearing that like the wrong way, but also it was the tone and like the way that you said it where I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely 110 agree with you, let's do this, and again, there's a combination of the person being secure or insecure and also how things are communicated to that other person. Something that is related but kind of not related. If you know somebody is insecure about something, I used to tiptoe around certain things because I'm like, this thing needs to be addressed. Yet, in the back of my mind, I know that they have an insecurity about this. And I would wrestle with, do I say something or do I let it go? And I'm of the mind frame now is, it's not that I don't care about your insecurity, but I'm going to do my best to address the thing, but have you understand that I'm not doing this to be rude or disrespectful, or I'm not saying this to be rude or disrespectful. I'm saying this because it's something that I want to address, and I'm doing it from a good place. And if it gets interpreted the wrong way, I don't want to just say sorry, but it's like,
sorry.
I'm not coming. If you think I'm coming from a bad place, then we've got a problem.
I think tone means a lot. So number one, just speaking about the part where you said that 70% of women don't necessarily know the tone in which they use. The issue is some women are going to hear that and say, but I'm not yelling, so what do you mean tone?
That was perfect. That was good.
However, there is a mom way of saying things, and then there's a girlfriend partner way of saying things. And it's not just about yelling. It's not about just the inflection of your voice. It's also about the volume of your voice, but it's also about the inflection where you place an emphasis on certain things that can come off in tone. And then also to the other thing, disrespect is found in not the words, like you can say something and not be rude about it. I have always been one of those people who absolutely loves constructive criticism. But if you say it in a way that I perceive there's a level of degradation, then I'm going to receive it that way. So effective communication has to deal with what? The sender and the receiver. If the sender and the receiver aren't on the same page, then guess what? That message is not going to be communicated.
Mhm.
That's point blank, period. Simple business lesson, right? Like we learned that in business school. In a relationship, you have to be willing to work on your communication, work on that sender and receiver going back and forth, and then also work on how a message is sent. So you want to talk computers? Okay, we love computers, we love tech. If I tell you something and I'm saying it the nice and the best way possible, but I'm saying it as I'm driving through an area with no reception, you're still not going to receive the message. There's still miscommunication. So we have to make sure that we are communicating things effectively, not just the way that we say it, but when we say it and the method by which we're using to say it and to convey it, and to make sure that it's coming from a good place. I preface a lot of my harsh comments, not harsh, but harder comments to my students with, this is coming from a place of love. However, let's have this conversation.
Know what I wish would happen? I wish you could give some kind of clinic to people that need it, to where you could have that conversation with them and give them some tools and some tips on how to be able to communicate in a way that the other person can hear it. How to talk to a man one-on-one.
Don't get me started.
There are ways, and I'm telling you, Michelle, I see it. There are ways that I see you communicate with me very intentionally, and I'm like, Michelle gets it. Kendra, from Wileen Living,
Yeah.
she turned something that I said and flipped it in a manner that I was like, oh, actually, that's brilliant.
Oh yeah, from the live stream. Yeah.
And I'm like, and that's an even better way of saying what I thought should be conveyed. And I actually thought about you, because I'm like, oh, Michelle would have done that too.
Oh.
Like, you know how to take a message and wrap the message and say it in a way to a man that, in my opinion, I'm going to say your man's, that in my opinion is received in a way that is going to be positive for the communications. If I would have gotten a hint of disrespect of you at all, if I would have gotten I'm talking like a hint, the face the size of a mustard seed.
Here you go.
If I would have gotten a hint of mustard seed of a woman that didn't listen, we wouldn't be in this relationship. I would have been nope. I would have saw that and been like, not happening. Find yourself a different man, sisters.
Okay. All right. I want to take a moment to highlight some comments.
While you do that, please do. I was going to suggest that.
You're going to redo the poll?
I'm going to try to see if I can get it to display properly.
Okay. So here are some of the comments that we missed. Thank you all so much for commenting. So Jay had said earlier, great point, Michelle, but women need to ask themselves if they sound like a girlfriend or a mom. I'm sorry, I did talk about that. Sarika said, it's two imperfect people that are perfect for each other. And you know what? Our friends over at the Better Than Perfect podcast, shout out to John and Nicole, they talk about that as well. How that's the whole premise of their channel, that it's two imperfect people who have come together to form a relationship, realizing that there is a way to be better than perfect when you are together. I don't know what's happening. Jump. Okay. Let's see. Then Tarika also said, when you have unspoken expectations and you do not discuss them, that is problematic. If you have something in your mind, you need to be able to convey that with the person that you are with. It is detrimental to you, your relationship, and that other person if you all are thinking in your head, I need this person to do X, Y, Z, but you never say X, Y, and Z in a loving way to someone else. Jay said, neither do I. I don't speak evil. Okay. Jay is shouting out, oh, when I said I don't speak German. Okay. All right. Awesome. He also said facts 100% King. Super C is in the house. Hey, Super C, how are you? Late but great. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Jay said, I found that a woman getting triggered is not my fault. Facts. Too many women use getting their feelings hurt as a tactic. That ain't got nothing to do with you. I even see my daughter doing it already. That's sad. Women use this trick on other women. Super C commented and said, 4 thumbs up. I deserve a Pagani. Pagani? Yeah. Set it up right now.
Oh, that's a car.
Oh, that's what I thought. Okay, just thought. Step into Joy. Steph is in the building.
What up, Steph?
Hey, Steph. How are you? Jay said, I like this channel, but when did men start, I like that channel, but when did men start using beta as an insult? So many men called him that in the comments. Okay. All right. Everybody up in the building today. Everybody in the building.
All right. So I believe I got this poll displayed properly.
Oh, I cracked my hip. That felt so good.
Nice.
Did you hear it?
No, I did not.
Oh my gosh.
So
it was so beautiful.
I'm going to have to make this bigger. That's what she said.
She said.
All right. So I put up the poll and 38 people said yes, an unequally yoked relationship can work. 25% people said no, and another 38% said it depends. So we've got a tie. Now, when I click next, I have no idea what's about to happen.
I'm like, why does it say part 2 or 6?
So let's click next.
Oh,
they're giving charts and graphs.
Yes.
And
the math freaking me loves this. Yes.
How do I see the total voted? I wish I could see the total that voted. I don't think I can see the total number that voted. But
what was part 1?
I think it was the poll. Yeah. Oh, 8 votes.
Okay. Hey, awesome. Hey, we'll take
8 votes.
We'll
nice.
Take it.
All right. Hey, so look, we trying different things over here at the King and Me Show, trying to make this thing interactive. So for the people that voted, thank you. I wasn't sure if it was gonna work.
He said, Jay said we need one more vote. We can't end on the tie. Steph says she is great. So glad to catch y'all. I missed the poll. Girl, we'll repost it just so that we can break the tie for Jay.
Yeah.
Jay wants us to break a tie. So either you are yes or it depends. Yes or it depends. So we can have a tie broken.
Or, I mean, if she can't get into the poll, Steph can address the question, because I'm not sure if she can do it after it's been displayed. But a 1 would be a yes, a 2 would be a no, a 3 would be a it depends.
So the question is, can an unequally yoked relationship work? She gonna vote, it depends. That's what Jay said. Jay starting trouble all the way from Germany, y'all.
Let's see. Let's get this thing up here. Yep, I'm not sure if she can vote after.
Yeah. So Steph just put in the chat box 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for depends. Hey. And she said it doesn't. All right, well, we got a broken tie there. So it's gonna be it's gonna go to the depends. It's gonna go to the depends. I like this.
I do too.
This was fun. This was lots of fun.
I think that where people say it depends, going back to something that you said earlier, I'm going to say it and I'm going to stand on this one. I think it can work, and it depends if the male's a strong male.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm trying not to put other people out on blast because it's 2024. I'm doing new things in my life. But hear me when, like, I wanna look you in the eyes and also crack random parts of my body.
Let me sit down.
I wish you would have heard my hip crack on it.
I would have been proud.
So beautiful. Give me, may I have your hand?
Oh, we having hands.
It's a hand holding moment.
All right,
y'all. Hand holding moment. Okay. It's a little bit of a delay.
I hope the whole thing ain't froze.
Oh no, I think it froze.
Oh no, people can still hear us.
People can still hear us.
But there is a delay. It looks like it's catching up.
It looks like it's catching up here. Yeah, looks like it's catching up here.
Okay.
But it's a little bit of a delay there.
That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Okay, I'm not going to dwell on it.
All right.
You gotta give me your hand.
I am. Let me do this real quick. Man, if I hit a reset.
Jay said he still sees us and we're fine.
Oh, all right,
Okay.
cool. Hands.
You are one of the strongest men that I have ever met in my entire life. And when I say that, I'm not comparing you to anyone, but I am saying that you remind the strength that I see in you, the man that I see in you, is the same man that I see in my best friend's father. So he was my pastor when I was growing up. It's the same strength of a man that I see in my two current pastors. I know what you say your faith is, and I know what you say you believe, but understand that I see more in you than you may be able to see at this particular point. And every part in you that I see, I love. And as God continues to give me strength and continues to allow me to see more and more into you each and every day, I fall deeper in love each day. You are a phenomenal man. And I thank God for you every single day. I love you.
I love you. Thank you. Do you remember what I said after you first told me that you love me?
Okay.
Okay.
I can't with you. I cannot with you.
Let's see. I'm going to try something, and I hope I do not mess this up. Webcam off.
All right, they said,
Webcam on.
Steph said it was just a bit slow, but they could see. She just said, oh, so I'm assuming she could at least hear it.
Okay.
So we learned a valuable lesson, and we're all about learning on this show. If you don't do nothing else, you're going to learn today. We just learned that the poll apparently likes being the center of the show, and it's definitely something that we can do, but we should just wait until like the very end to display results.
Yes.
Because it's a little selfish thingamabobber.
Yes. I'm actually going to see if I can take that poll away, remove it, see if that was the reason why things got affected the way that it affected. All right.
Hey, it's life.
Weird. Okay.
It's life. It's
I'm
okay.
not going to, you know what?
Don't dwell on it.
I'm not going to dwell on it.
Okay.
We had audio last week. We got video this week. But we're building this plane as we fly, and I'm perfectly fine with doing that.
I trust you, Mr. Pilot.
Thank you, babe. I appreciate it. See? I love it. I love you.
I love you.
Well,
Well.
I think we had a lot that we could have still added, but we're going to end it right here.
Because this is getting to both of us. And
Yes.
because I know you. If we talk for any longer, you're going to sit here and you're going to try to figure it out.
I'm going to want to fix it.
And it's okay. Because we don't need to. We're good.
Shout out to everybody that pulled up in the live stream. Shout out to everybody that's going to check us out on the replay as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and mash that like button. We will be back next Monday, which is the Monday after the Super Bowl. Our Ravens didn't make it, so it is what it is. We don't know what the topic is going to be just yet. So
Building this plane as we fly it, but we'll post about it.
But we would definitely post about it. If you're not following us on any of our other socials, we do have an Instagram. We do have a TikTok. We do post things that sometimes may not be on all platforms. So just follow us on all of them.
Yeah, if you're following us on all of them, if you hit our LinkedIn and you our LinkedIn.
Linktree, which is in the description.
If you click that link, then you'll be able to follow all the things that we do. Check us out. We do weekly recaps of what our life was like, and we in here to share, help everyone grow.
All right. Well, Michelle and I always end our live streams the same way every single time. I don't know if it's going to be seen, but people can hear it.
Yeah, people can hear it. And then I love that Steph said, I'm patient. The best things in life are worth waiting for. And I feel you were worth waiting for. 36 years.
Thank you. I have comments, but I'm going to reserve those comments. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.